Hello everybody out there now. Okay, and of course I want to start off by saying that if you do enjoy this video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, and 80% of those who have watched my videos haven't, then of course please subscribe and don't forget to ring the bell. So today we're back again with talking about female allegorical figures, or symbols, whatever term one wishes to use. The first country I want to look at has had a very long history of female allegorical symbols, and not just on coins. Italy, and before that ancient Rome, are well known for producing marble statues of both male and female figures. This first one has a woman holding an ear of grain. If you look here, she's holding an ear of grain and just contemplating it, I suppose. I'm going to guess that this perhaps represents the goddess Ceres, spelt C-E-R-E-S. This is where we get our word cereal, as she was the goddess in reference to crops, agriculture, and grain. So that's maybe that's supposed to be Ceres. And on this side, we have a young lady in robes with and holding a torch and appears to be flying in some form. One source calls it a flying victory. However, the flying victory is supposed to have wings like an angel. It apparently it doesn't have any wings on it. So other sources tell me that it is apparently supposed to be a flying Lady Liberty. The Italians refer to her as libertà librata, hovering freedom. My American friends might be visualizing the Statue of Liberty floating up and flying off to New Jersey. But then again, maybe not. The next one shows the female symbol Italia. That's what it's supposed to be here. Now I'll get it into focus here. Unfortunately, this coin is not the cleanest, so the picture is not detailed. But we have the figure Italia, and she is riding a four-horse chariot called a quadriga. Yeah, that's what a four-horse chariot is. It's called a quadriga. It would be very similar to the chariots that you might see in the famous chariot races in the movie Ben-Hur, which is a great movie, by the way. I definitely recommend watching it. It's often on TV at Easter. She is standing in the chariot, which normally you would in this case, but she's not holding the reins of the chariot. Instead, she's holding a shield in her left hand and an olive branch in her right. So clearly she is peaceful, but can protect herself if need be. The next one, Lira, that we have here is this one. The previous one was from 1909. This one's 1922, just after World War I. And guess what? It's no longer silver, of course, like the last one was. And it is, in this case, we have Italia on a throne with an olive leaf in one hand, still holding the olive leaf. But she has a statue of the Flying Victory in the other hand, still wearing the same robes by the looks of it. Now, and I should mention something about female symbols tend to have clothing, which may or may not cover everything, going all the way back to the ancient Greeks and Romans. The male allegorical symbols, however, tended to have no clothes at all, such as this 50 lira. So, in this case, this is supposed to represent the Roman god Vulcan, the blacksmith. And this is where we get the word volcano. A volcano is originally believed to be Vulcan's fire. So we have here Vulcan here, no clothes at all, with a hammer hammering something on an anvil. Now, he's pounding away on the anvil here, and I know blacksmiths out there would probably tell me that he needs to at least be wearing a leather apron so he doesn't burn himself. Male allegorical symbols seem to be a lot less common. Most males on coins represent a real person, king, president, prime minister, or some great hero of the past. Next is a 100 lira coin, which has a standing portrait of Minerva. The reason why we know it's Minerva is she's wearing a helmet with the brush on the top of it, or plume, I guess is what you would call, and she's holding a spear and an olive branch, which I'm guessing she must have just snapped off of the tree that is behind her. The other side also has a woman's portrait. This is probably Italia again, this time with a laurel wreath on her hair. And this then the next one, there's just going to go right along here. Next one, we have a 500 lira, another Italian one. This lady here is just simply representing the Renaissance. It's a young woman wearing Renaissance-style clothing. And then we have another 500 lira. In this coin is interesting. It is bimetallic. That means it's made out of two different metals. The two parts are put into the machine, and when the pressure of striking it causes the two to fuse together. Usually. Sometimes if the striking is not hard enough, what can happen sometimes is that the center part could pop out. But this one here, on this side, we got the Lady Liberty, or Italia perhaps, and she has feathered wings on her head, rather similar to the American Mercury dime. The final Italian coin is a 10 euro cent coin, and it has again, we got a woman's portrait here, but this one is a portrait of the Roman goddess Venus. Specifically, it's the face of Venus from the very famous Birth of Venus painting by Botticelli. So if you look at the picture of her and you think that she kind of looks familiar, yeah, well, it is indeed from a very famous painting. The next one is a Latvian 5 Latte coin. This is a very nice one here, I must say. And it has a young woman wearing the traditional Latvian folk costume of the time. She had no official name, but Latvians apparently called her Milda, which is a somewhat common Latvian name at the time. She symbolized love and freedom during the Soviet occupation, so Latvians kept these coins hidden away until they finally threw off the Soviet yoke in 1991. New coins of this same portrait were struck in gold in 2003. Wish I could afford one. On to the island of Malta. We got one female allegorical figure on a Malta coin. This one is a mythological figure. It is, I don't hope I pronounce this right here, Penthesilea. Penthesilea, I believe is how you pronounce it. She's the queen of the Amazons. She was allied with Troy during the Trojan War and was killed by Achilles. Next we have New Caledonia. We have a figure again of Liberty. Now, this is what I thought was kind of interesting, is that while New Caledonia is a part of France, it's a French possession. This is a seated Liberty figure that kind of looks more like the Italian Liberty than the French Marianne figure that I talk about in a previous video when talking about France. She is holding a cornucopia, a horn-shaped basket full of fruit in her right hand, and she holds a torch in her left hand. Now, because she's also looking left, I look at this picture and to me it looks like as if someone with a cigarette has just walked up to her and said, "Got a light?" finally, we have, from this video anyway, we got Peru. Here is a Liberty figure. Peru, and like several other South American countries, has adapted a Lady Liberty which is kind of similar to the US. If you ever see any American Liberty pattern coins, you might notice a lot of them look an awful lot like the South American Liberty symbols. So this is one here just representing Lady Liberty. But one of my favorites is this one here. This is another Peruvian coin. This is a seated Liberty, obviously, and while it's only 50% silver with 40% copper, 10% nickel, it has a lot of detail in it, which really makes it nice. Liberty is seated in long robes, holding a shield in her right hand and a spear in her left. The spear tip is covered with a Phrygian cap. Next to her is a column with a ribbon that has Libertad written on it. And there's a wreath at the top of the column. Again, another symbol of freedom. So the other side of this coin has even more. It's got the whole shield. But there's that cornucopia again at the bottom of the shield. I think that's a llama, as the animal on there. There's a wreath at the top. I'm not sure what the other part of it is. And despite being big in silver, most dates in this condition, this one is in very fine condition, most of the dates in this condition sell for only around $20, so they're not totally out of reach, and they are a really nice coin. Okay. And so, if you have any questions, okay, please be sure to post in the comments. And if you have any suggestions for any other coin themes, please let me know. And I thank everybody for watching.